Welcome to the Tansson Talks show. I'm Brandon, the host of the show, and I always love doing this. Heading into our 10th season here on the show, I'm very excited to welcome my guest here today, Jayrold. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Currently on winter break. Just got done with my third semester at Penn State University, so it's nice to be on the show.
I'm so excited for you. How did your overall semester go?
My overall fall semester had a lot of challenges, hardships, but also a lot of new things that came into my life. One endeavor in which I started to pursue was boxing, so that was something really new that I would never have expected myself to do, and just being consistent with it throughout the whole semester was amazing. And actually, another thing was starting content creation at the start of the semester. I think it was literally the first day I said, "Okay, I'm new to this space of content creation, but I think I just have to post every single day," and we were able to do it.
I love that, and I'm so excited, like I said, to dive into your story and hear more about, like I said, your recent journey. But before we do that, if you're able to go ahead and introduce yourself for the watching or listening audience here today.
Got it. So for everyone watching this today, my name is Jayrold. I'm currently a college sophomore at Penn State University, and I'm a content creator on the social media platform Instagram.
I love that, and like I said, and diving right into it. So, so speaking of, like I said, your recent content creation journey. So, what really brought you into that? And not only that, but being consistent every day. Like, I'd love to hear the whole process in regards to that.
Okay. So the process of making content actually came into fruition at some point this year when one of my friends in college started doing it, and they found a good bit of success from it. And I saw that they were building their own personal brand, and then I thought to myself, wow, that's actually amazing that like there's actual tangible proof of like people like in my age doing this. So like what makes me any different? Like why can't I do this? So I think the whole premise of my page was firstly initially for me to take action, for me to have intentional steps to become the person that I want to be. And when you go to my page, my story comes in chapters because those are essentially goals that I want to hit for myself. And essentially, when I hit those goals, then I go on to something new that I could pursue. So the process of starting content creation, I was very hesitant because in my second semester of college, I wasn't sure if I wanted to start content creation, but then I met more and more people that encouraged me to pursue this path. During my spring semester of 2024, I was I was a computer science major, and at that point, I didn't have too much time to actually start content creation. But I think there was like a lot of influences throughout the year that brought me to this endeavor.
I love that, and I love that you're able to, I mean, to pursue it, be inspired by some friends, but then pursuing it on your own, and yeah, I'm so glad that you were able to do that. And I know that you just recently completed a challenge of over 100 days of of posting on Instagram. So how's that feel?
Mm.
And congratulations.
It feels amazing. Honestly, being able to do this consistently, I thought it would be really hard, and it was. It was. I think there was a lot of things I had to balance out throughout the whole entire semester. Definitely did not do it perfectly, but I still did it because it was one of my biggest priorities. Definitely still need to work on prioritizing different things for next semester, but it's more so the fact that I was able to do it for the whole entire semester. And although I did not hit the goal that I wanted to get in this semester, I think pivoting it towards a different direction for next semester is going to be even better than what it right now.
Well, that's great to hear. And so to backtrack a little bit, so what was your overall goal?
My goal with this first chapter was initially just getting my foot in the door. As a content creator, I think there's like different levels of it. And when I talk about the first chapter, becoming a micro influencer, I'm mainly talking about just hitting 10,000 followers. And the reason why I make it a specific number is because then at some point in Instagram, you get a broadcast channel. And for me, the whole premise of my page is just to reach more of an audience to just inspire more people in general. I think overall, regardless of anything that comes out of this content creation, the one thing that I truly want is to make change in the world, is to inspire other people, regardless of like the magnitude, whether it be small or large. I think the overall goal is that if I get more people to follow, then I get a wider audience to just inspire.
While you may not have been able to end out 2024 with 10,000, you nevertheless still accumulated, around 1968, which is still extraordinary. I mean, to think about that, you've just been doing this for, a little bit over 100 days as of the time that we're
Mhm.
speaking right now.
Yeah. And I'm definitely not saddened by that because I know it's a whole process. Content creation, I'm definitely still new to the space in itself. I think August was like 4 months ago. So just being 4 months into it, I think there is still so much that I can improve. I think what makes me want to do this in the long run is that I know that if I am truly passionate about it, I'm going to make it work regardless of the circumstances or the results. I think it's more so the process of like, what do I do every single day that gets me towards like these things.
Well, that makes perfect sense. And overall, what would you say that you have learned like from this process, from day one to, essentially day 102?
I think the overall thing that I've learned is just prioritizing efficiency and making sure that I have enough time to do the things that I need to do in a day. Because although content creation is an endeavor that I'm pursuing, I'm still a college student. So it's something which I have to consider. I think overall, the way that I approached it this semester, it was efficient, but I know that I could make it more efficient. Because what I would do is that some days I would, if I had more time, I would actually record two videos and then schedule those videos ahead of time, which is why there's a lot of consistency on my page. Even on some days where I'm not able to record anything, I have days where I've recorded like two videos so that it's stockpiled for the days that I'm too busy to make any content. And then the next day forward, I'm stern on at least making one video unless I truly can't do it.
Well, that makes perfect sense. And how would you say, like, for anyone who may be unfamiliar with your content, what would you say has been like the overall genre that you would say your content falls under? And would you say it has shifted from, from the first week to the last week? Well, more so the most recent week as of recording.
Mm-hmm. I think my content right now has focused more on fashion. A lot of things that I do right now is fashion. The main reason being is because I'm trying to see what fits into my life right now. And I think fashion is something that I've dove deep into a lot in this semester. So when I come into wanting to inspire others, another thing is fashion because I think fashion in of itself is a way to build your own confidence. And I'm still new to it, but I've learned a lot throughout this whole entire semester. And I still want to incorporate it into my content for next semester. It just wouldn't be like the underlying goal of what I want the next semester to be. But I think my whole persona, honestly, lies under fashion. So, regardless of what my goal is, somehow fashion is going to be incorporated in it.
Well, that makes perfect sense. And I like that you said that it practically is your persona. It's how people see you, perceive you. And I love, less of the meaning that you mentioned within that. So would you see, yourself continuing in the fashion sphere even as we enter like, January and February of 2025 and beyond?
Most definitely, most definitely. And I feel like it's a challenge that I'm going to have to overcome. And also because the next goal that I want to obtain essentially in this next chapter is the two things that I want to do the most in 2025 is to become a collegiate boxer and enter finance at Penn State University, like declare my major and actually pursue this endeavor. So that's within like this semester. So I think even though those two things are the goal of next semester and everything's going to be centered around getting those two goals, even though those are the two main goals, I could still incorporate fashion into those two endeavors, especially in finance.
Yeah, and are you actually able to let us know a little bit, like how would you, per se, plan to do that? Yeah, out of curiosity, like, do you have any current plans of how you'd want to integrate fashion into both collegiate boxing and for finance?
I think right now I have a big plan for how I would incorporate it into finance because I mean, I could just make outfits for how a finance major slash fashion person dresses in a day and send around all of my outfits and my persona to be around the fact that I'm still a finance major. It's just that I have I have fashion and I want to show you guys this.
Well, that certainly makes sense, and yeah, and so I did want to, of course, in a moment, hear more about, like I said, your pursuit of collegiate boxing. But to step back a little bit, I did want to, yeah, to ask overall. So since you mentioned, like I said, fashion's all about the persona. Had you always been interested in fashion prior to beginning this journey to become a micro influencer?
Yeah, most definitely. I think I've had this interest in improving my style because it has had an effect on my confidence. And I think I've seen that more so than ever this year when I've improved it a lot, like like tenfold. And even still now I'm learning a lot of new things and then I see how these outfits are turning out to be, especially ones that I haven't shown yet. I'm like, okay, those look really cool and I can't wait to make videos on those because it definitely does express yourself in a different way and it just shows more of your personality and what you represent.
Okay, so to add a twist to this, so to put you a little bit on the spot here, but so what would you say is the outfit that makes you the most you, and why? And then is there anything that you think is outside of your typical choice that you really enjoy?
So right now I think outfits that really define my personality are earthy toned outfits like the one I have right now. I mean, it's just very neutral, very light colors, very earthy, so like dark green, beige, and a lot of neutral colors. I think just add a just a bit of subtleness onto my personality. I think the way I want to portray myself, I don't want to, come off as like too nonchalant, but more so just aesthetic in that sense. And an outfit that I'm trying that's still new for me are like crop shirts. Um, yeah, like the sleeveless shirts. I think I've tried those like during the fall semester, and I was like, oh, okay, this is new. I haven't really tried this, but it's so outside of my comfort zone, and it is still stylish. And the reason why I know that is because people have complimented me on it. And I was like, okay. Um, and it really was new at first, but then I realized like, I just have to adapt to it. And even now, working on my winter wardrobe, one thing that I wanted to try was doing cropped puffer jackets, which is something I've never tried before, but incorporating those into a lot of more outfits and utilizing dress shirts and ties more as well, especially in the next semester. And that's why I said when I wanted to incorporate it into finance, it would be such a good way to do it because a lot of people in business, obviously in like finance as well, they like to dress formally or like business casual, but I wanted to add no more fashionable twist onto it.
I love that, and I'm certainly very excited. Like I said, when you get to to that round where you're able to to expand upon that and enter into that new niche, and I definitely, like I said, would am so excited, like I said, for you and your journey. And I like that you also mentioned that you're working to also get outside your comfort zone, try new things, and especially like with the crop shirts that you mentioned, and so out of curiosity, like what really inspired you to add that to, like I said, your wardrobe initially? Is it for the sake of getting outside your comfort zone, or was there another motivating factor in that regard?
So, actually, a friend of mine actually encouraged me to push towards expanding my fashion like an extraordinarily amount. They pushed me to try different clothing that I've never tried before. And then when I've tried it, I was like, okay, I've never done this, but like this actually looks good on me. So we would go thrifting a lot. We would go shopping for different clothing. And then eventually I've gotten new apparel that I wouldn't have never thought of wearing even 2 years ago or like three, because I just never thought I would look good in them. And then I tried it and said, wow, okay, maybe like there's more to expand on my style. So I became very open minded because who knows what else could look good on me.
I love that. And to head into a little bit of, like I said, the overall topic for today is that I know you said that you do all this to help inspire others to take action in what they want to pursue. And so, what does that mean to you personally?
So for me personally, I think growing up, one of the things that I wanted to do most was to make a positive impact. I think I never got the chance to do it like a large scale, but I knew like I could do it in like the surroundings. Like whenever I'd be in other people's presence, I'd always have a chance to like make a good impact. So it starts from there. But ambitiously, I also wanted to just really drill into the fact that people have their own individuality and people don't have to conform to things that are normal in society, whether that be, you have to do certain things like go to college and get a 4-year degree and pursue jobs. Like if that's something that doesn't truly bring you fulfillment, that shouldn't be in the picture, I think. But that also comes in a place of privilege. I think there's a lot of circumstances that essentially move you towards that direction.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, as I understand that, and I love, as I said, your passion towards inspiring and helping out others. And I know even like with my own content, one of my personal goals has always been to help like inspire others to pursue their goals and dreams, and hoping that by having telling helping to tell these conversations, by hearing the stories of others and sharing them on my platforms, that it's able to allow for people to go, oh hey, they were able to do this despite the odds. Maybe I can do the same for my goal. And so I'm so glad that you're able to do that with your platform, and you're doing a tremendous job at it, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, and have you been able to meet some new people from having doing this content creation?
Yes, I was able to meet a lot of people because I was in this one Discord that allowed like a meetup to eventually occur with a bunch of like content creators. And we were the founder of this Discord was able to get 50 content creators in the same building to just connect with each other. And it was a very unique experience because I've never networked to that degree before, especially with people who are much more influential than I am. But at the end of the day, I definitely just saw them as just other people, and hearing their stories, hearing their ambitions, hearing what they had to offer was amazing. And they all had very like infectious personalities and very unique ones too. And the thing is, there was 49 other people there, including myself, and like we all have different niches. And what was very surprising about meeting all these people was the fact that we were all making content, and the reasons as to why we were doing it were different. But it was just so heartwarming seeing people with essentially the same ambitions too, though.
That's certainly so exciting. And how did you first like find out about that Discord, and how was it for you even like going into that, let's say that networking event, and were you familiar with any of them at all prior to that?
So there's this one person on social media who started this course. It's called a Content Academy, and his name was Mino Lee. I saw on my For You page, and it was during around this time that I was drawing inspiration from my one friend who started making content back in the spring semester. And this person started getting onto my For You page and saying, oh, there's this course that you could do that could help you with content. And I was like, I was very skeptical at first because like a lot of online courses, they have a very like bad reputation. But what secured the credibility for this course for me was the fact that there was like a lot of people vouching for this person, not just like random people, other influencers. And then I was like, okay, if other people are entrusting this service, then I think there has to be a reason why it's successful and why they're like vouching for it. So I gave it a shot in August, and during that time, I started making content. And every now and then, there would be coaching calls like every single week. I think there would be like 3 to 4, and I would attend 2 of them a week. So I became familiar with the people in those calls. I was pretty active in the Discord, and then eventually, when December rolled around, they made an announcement of New York City meetup for the Content Academy, and I was like, honestly, I'm very close. Like, I definitely should attend that. Or so, just to meet the people that I've been talking to for months and seeing more people that I've never even met in my life.
That's so exciting that you were able to, I mean, to be a part of that and take that chance and have a chance to meet so many, yeah, I'm sure amazing people, fellow creators, and so are you used to going to these type of networking spaces?
Absolutely not. I think that's one of the first times I've done one of those things, especially because especially my first year, I've just been stuck on focusing on academics, working around clubs. I never really had time to go to a lot of networking events. So this definitely put me out extremely out of my comfort zone. I would say I'm a very outgoing person, but at some point, like I do run out of my social battery. And I think it was within like the 5th or 6th hour into the meetup that I was like, I've introduced myself to like 30 people. I think I'm like so tired.
I could only imagine. I mean, I know for myself as a very reserved introvert, I enjoy meeting people. Don't get me wrong, but in one at a time, maybe not like all at once. That I know that would be for me like, wow, like I would probably one challenge myself to meet everybody, and then also be like, oh my gosh, like I don't know how long I could do this. So kudos to you for
Mm,
being able to. I mean, to do that and to meet so many was that so many people and get yourself out there too, and hopefully they are following you on your page as well.
mm. Yeah, most definitely. A lot of the people that I met there, we started connecting through Instagram, and through that avenue too, like a few more people outside of the event started following me as well that I knew off the For You page. And I was like, it was a really beneficial thing to go to this event. More so, I think what helped me the most in that manner, attending that event, was just reminding myself that I just have to be myself. At the end of the day, like I go to these things and just do what I would usually do as if it were like any other person and express myself how I would online, how I would with my close friends, and how I would with just by myself. Honestly, the biggest thing about my page is that a lot of things that you would see on my platform, you would see if you were talking to me in person. So I I do truly want to make my page as authentic as possible and as transparent without going too transparent, but also just really expressing how I would act, regardless of whether or not there'd be a camera.
I love that, and I know for me, I am very much into authenticity with the way that I do content, and even the creators of the content that I enjoy. Um, because I feel like you can tell a difference when you are like really being authentic about something, being genuine in how you present yourself.
Mm,
That I think, uh, yeah, I mean, really stands out, and I really like that for your content. That as you mentioned, that it feels genuine. Uh, that you are truly challenging yourself to go outside of your comfort zone, try new things, especially in regards to, let's say, to fashion and now for this event. And so, before I move on to the next thing, I did want to ask: so, was this event before or after you had made it to your 100-day goal?
this was before the 100-day goal, and it just came about, and it was extremely spontaneous.
Well, that's certainly good to know. And so I did want to shift gears a little bit. So since you are now interested in collegiate boxing, so how did that come about for you? And you mentioned a little bit earlier that you wouldn't have imagined yourself, yeah, being here a few months ago. So overall, like, how did this come about for you, and what got you interested?
So I don't know the deep rooted interest of boxing and where it came from. I think the earliest recollection I could remember is that I was joking around with a few of my very close friends, saying like, "Oh, what would happen if like we would box each other?" And like, essentially, it came to that joke that eventually it came into fruition that my college actually offers club boxing. And I looked around and I was like, oh my goodness, they actually do have club boxing. I do want to try this out. For my entire life, starting from middle school, I was a cross country runner. And before then, I didn't really see myself capable of being athletic to this standard. I think a lot of people in my school saw it. Um, some of my close friends saw it. A lot of people who were close to me saw that, like, oh, like you can't be athletic at like a physical standard. Even I started believing that. And when that deep rooted belief came about, I think when I entered college, like I knew it still sat there and I told myself, I said, that's not true. I mean, people tell me this. I tell myself this. I have to prove myself wrong. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm challenging myself to do boxing. I definitely fell in love with the sport, and now there's more incentive to do it. But the deep rooted motivation as to why I'm doing boxing in the first place is because I told myself I couldn't do this at some point, and now I'm going to prove myself wrong. Some point in time, 2 years ago, I told myself, wow, I'm just not athletic. I'm not capable of doing this. So I just want to prove myself wrong.
I absolutely love that, and I feel like that sometimes is the strongest motivator out of everything. Is yeah, is being able to prove it to yourself, and not only that, but to prove yourself wrong. I love that.
Yeah. So first step would be to join the boxing team and then at some point win a match. And I think that's one of the biggest goals I'm going to have in my life because it shows that even through doubt, I can still make that change to be what I want to be and things that I'm passionate about. Have that tangible proof that even if others don't see it in me, even if I don't see it in me sometimes, I can make that change. Whether that be in content creation, boxing, or any other endeavor I decide to pursue in the future.
That's extraordinary, and I'm so excited for you, and so glad that you're able to. I mean, to find that passion that you're going to, like I said, do this for, like I said, for yourself, and yeah, and shifting how you even perceive yourself, which I love. And so, are you going to include some of this journey within your content creation as well?
Most certainly, I think I kept it a little bit calm last semester, more so of the fact that couldn't really get too much B-roll of boxing. I think that same issue is going to happen this semester, but I'm going to focus more on how discipline in boxing can correlate to things in finance and other matters that accord. I'm going to set sub goals for myself as well. And I'm definitely going to see how everything fits in towards becoming a boxer because that's definitely a first step. And I think after that, because I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but there's other goals, especially in the summer, that I do want to eventually get up to as well. But I want to keep that for the summer.
That makes perfect sense, and yeah, summer 2025 will be here before you know it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, my current benchmark right now is from now until the end of spring semester because that's like and initially, like, the deadline for me to become a finance major, but then also collegiate boxing. I think if I don't get it in the spring, I there had like most definitely will get it in the fall. But I think I didn't get it the first time around in the fall of this year because of my inexperience. I think I just have to double down on just going even more to these boxing practices because I did go to the club ones every single week, but they have their own gym that does boxing practices like 3 more times a week. So
Well, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, I'm very excited for you, let's say, in all honesty, because this is just so exciting. And I can just sort of tell how passionate you are, about both your content creation journey and your journey on your way to collegiate boxing. And I'm so thrilled to see, how you're able to progress between, now and the end of the spring 2025 semester. And even between now and the time this video goes out.
yeah,
And going forward a little bit too. And so, since you mentioned, like I said, many of these spring 2025 goals, is I know something based off your Instagram anyway that you're very adamant about is showing improving to others that even though New Year's comes around, that the time to make resolutions isn't then, but actually now, or should I say yesterday.
yeah. Um, the the best time to start was yesterday, and the second best time to start is today. Um, Honestly, I stand by that because I that 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 burst of motivation that you feel off of the New Year's is a reflection of have I done everything that I wanted to this year and how could I do it next year? So like it's also this societal construct that like every single year, oh now we get this burst of motivation. Now we get us some time to reflect. I know other people use it as a way to reflect on like all of the good times that happened throughout 2024, which is very wholesome. But I know a lot of people use it as a way to motivate themselves for like the following months to come in 2025. But the thing is, I feel like a lot of people, and I think there was this one ad that I saw just on my For You page. It's like 2 or 3 weeks into the new year that people like lose motivation or like they lose their resolution. I'm like, oh my goodness. It's like, that's why like I don't wait for numerical like value to like actually start the things that I want to start because now is the time to start.
100%. And I mean, January 17th, this is truly a thing, is National Ditch New Year's Resolution Day. Why is this a thing?
But like what was the point of making the resolution if you're going to break it? That's crazy. January, that's actually a thing. January 17th. I might
Yeah.
have to put that on my calendar and like make an anti video on that.
But that I had read somewhere that that some people call it Quitter's Day, and it's just like,
What is that?
it's like, why is this a thing? Is this saying that that as long as your resolution lasts like 16 days that you're good for the year? I mean, and then just try again next year. I mean, we can't be in this cycle.
No, yeah, I most definitely agree. That is why when I set these goals, it's binary goals, such as, oh, I want to become a collegiate boxer. I want to become a finance major. Because if I quit, then it's going to show there's accountability. There's like, oh, I didn't achieve these goals. I think the more binary they are, it's like it's either you achieve them or you didn't. I think the better they are because then it's like, like you lose some momentum, but like you could still get back into it. There's no such, oh, I failed once, then it's done. It's done. Like goals such as like, oh, I want to quit something, and then they don't quit it. Like they abstain from this behavior for like 16 days, and then they get back onto this behavior. Like those things, like I don't feel like are as efficient because like like once you fail, that's done. Like you've done like oh the New Year's resolution, it's over.
Yeah, and then the inverse too, where where I'm sure, like I said, you've seen it. We're very familiar with it. The where it's like, okay, we're going to start so and so on January 1st. So in the meantime, we could just indulge with whatever in the world we're giving up, or doing between now and then. It's like that's not quite how that works.
Oh my goodness, yeah, no, I agree. And And I feel like in some sense, like I think a lot of people fall into that habit of waiting until January 1st to make that change. And I feel like in the past I've done that for certain things. And I'm trying to identify when I do that so it doesn't happen.
100%. I know for myself, like my major resolutions, I call them August resolutions. I mainly set my resolutions, directly or indirectly, within the time frame of August. Now, am I saying that it may not be June, July, or September? I'm not saying that. It's broad, but in the same regard, it usually almost happens in August, where I get into a mode where it's like, okay, this is kind of what I wanted to do this year. Did I work on this? Yes. Okay. Maybe I should shift gears on, something a little bit more specific, or like fine tune everything. But I feel like August is the time that I'm really able to make things happen. And I feel like everyone has their own time, that it's not all January 1st. I feel like that's just such an arbitrary date. I mean, yes, it starts the new year, but if we're waiting for that, what happened to February 1st, March 1st? There's so many first days of the month, the week. Like if you need a new day, like you said, if you can't do yesterday, today is the next best option.
Yeah, most certainly. Most certainly.
And yeah, and so overall, what I said, for you, even thinking, let's suppose, like, within these first 2 months of 2025, what do you have hope to have accomplished, between, as of recording right now, at the final days of 2024 and the first week of March 2025?
First week of March 2025, I think building a strong routine. Building a strong routine to do everything efficiently. I know this semester there was a lot of like pockets of errors that I did that like really hindered my performance in every single aspect of my life. So really honing in on just building good habits in order to find more success in this semester than I did in last semester. And it's always a measurement of not how I compare myself to other people, but how I was just months ago. And I think the biggest way to do that is to always look back at like who I was like at the start and at the end of a semester and say like did I really improve?
Yeah, and I like that message too of, did I really improve? And would you say that overall that you have improved from even the beginning of 2024 uh, to where we are now at the tail end, practically almost at January 1st of 2025?
Most certainly. Most certainly. I have not expressed this yet. It's going to be on my end of the year post, but I think this has been the best year of my life. The best year of my life in the sense that I've done things, a lot of things that I've never ever thought I could imagine doing just 2 years ago. Just showing so much courage, so much confidence, and just expressing myself the way that I wanted to express myself. I just, because in the past I've always been so self-critical, and nowadays, I try to treat myself as if I am my own best friend. I give myself grace when I need to, and I learn when things get hard and accept humility when those times come.
I love that, and I think it is so important to give yourself that grace, and and to sometimes, especially when things get rough, is to also, like, give yourself a little bit of a break too, because like we're all working hard towards our goals. It's important that we do, but in the same regard, to also not burn us out at the same time, because what use is that going to do, if
Mhm.
we burn ourselves out? How are we supposed to even help others if we can't help ourselves?
Most certainly. And I've had that quote. There is this quote that like a lot of people have told me, you have to love yourself first before you love someone else. And I took that quote to heart starting from 2022 all the way up till now. Is one thing I've been working on really is just, yeah, being my own best friend for that manner. It's just working on myself to just really love and accept the things that I do, whether they're right or wrong, like learn from those experiences and try to just be better every single day and give myself the grace.
That's amazing to hear. And Yeah, and going back a little bit, so since you mentioned, of course, that you are at Penn State University, is that always where you wanted to go? And I believe you originally mentioned that prior to wanting to pursue finance, that you were originally trying to do computer science, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and so what made you want to shift from from computer science to to finance, and also when you decided to go to to the university. So, how far are you away from the university?
So the travel, it's not bad. I'm 3 hours away from the university. I think the biggest problem about that is a lot of my opportunities are in New York. A great deal amount of them. So the things that I'm going to be doing in the summer, a lot of them are going to be in New York. And that's 5 hours away from the campus. So it is almost like a day travel type of thing in which like 5 hours, like now we're cutting it close to like committing like a whole day to it. And honestly, as in terms of choosing Penn State, it was more so of one of the biggest motivators. I think originally was the fact that my brother went. I heard a lot about it from my brother. I've heard a lot about it from my parents because of my brother, but also because if you look this up, they actually have one of the I think, don't, I may be wrong, but the largest alumni network in the United States, because a lot of people go to it. So, I mean, a lot of people will graduate, and then the network is extraordinary. Like, I've seen a lot of people who go to Penn State in New York already, and I was like, oh, I could tell because they were wearing Penn State merchandise. And just imagine the amount of people who weren't wearing Penn State merchandise who I passed by that went to Penn State. I mean, it's just that big. And I think to answer your last question of why I went from computer science to finance, it was more so aligning with the goal that I had in mind at the end of my spring semester of my freshman year. So, spring 2024. It was, I've had a lot of people push for me to like really think. And I thought about this myself too. It's like, was I in computer science for the right reasons? I was here because, like, I'm like very competent with technology. I'm good with computers. But was this something that I was doing because I was passionate about it? Or was it because of money? So what led me to switch off was like that doubt, that continuous doubt of, am I doing this for the right reason? And I took a lot of time to decide this. I took the whole entire freshman year to decide, oh yeah, computer science just wasn't for me. And I think at some point in the summer, you know, really reflecting on who I wanted to be and where I wanted to take my life, the reason why I chose business is because it was going to correlate more with my content creation as well. Eventually, if I do want to do an entrepreneurial pursuit, what's going to help the most is the fact that I have gone into the Smil College of Business and pursued finance to learn how money works, how money moves, and how to honestly operate like other things in business.
Well, that makes perfect sense, and I like that you were willing to take that step back, within your freshman year, because I feel like for so many people that it's sort of like it's like okay, we have to go to college, we have to find a major, but sometimes that initial major isn't exactly what exactly we should be doing per se, and that like you're saying, is it because of the money? Do you have an actual interest in computer science? And I feel like that hits so much, much of us too. Is that it's like, okay, here's what makes us the money. Here's what sounds nice, or here's at least what we have a potential remote interest in. But there's so many majors I feel like that we didn't even know exist, when we are heading into
Yeah.
college. That, maybe the one for us.
Yeah. And I think I'm trying to find a good middle ground for not chasing money, but also being able to provide in a comfortable sense for myself and for like future people who come into my life. And I feel like, you know, I I the reason why I do content creation is not for the money. Like I tell myself like the money will come, like if I have the right reason for it. Like I just have to have a good why and the reason why I'm doing all of this, and then eventually it will reward me. And like that, like money is not in the forefront of my mind when I think of everything. It's nice to have and all, but like if I start chasing that wealth, then like I lose the purpose of and fulfillment of why I'm doing this in the first place. And I think it all really comes back to just inspiring other people. Like the reason why I want to grow my page is really inspiring people. Everything that like I've done, even in just 4 months, can be seen by other people and for other people to be inspired from. I've already received messages from close friends and other people that I have known saying like, I've seen your videos, like it really is inspiring what you're doing here, taking these steps. I would have never imagined like doing these things. You really inspire me. And that to me, I love seeing those things because that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this. Now imagine that on a larger scale. But I also have to be grateful that 2,000 people, 2,000 people almost roughly, like I could reach every single day. Like that's insane.
And that really is insane. I'm so glad that you're able to do that, and that you are. And that's not just that, that, oh whoa, 2,000 people almost were, like, gifted to your Instagram, just decide you're the person that gets them. That you put in the hard work and that you made that happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, it's just so, like I said, great that you're able, like I said, to do that. And overall, heading a little bit into, like, I guess the year and a half leading up to you starting this content creation journey, and and wanting to pursue some of your current passions. So how was the adjustment heading into college, and especially in regards to how you present yourself? Since I know that you mentioned that with your current content creation, that is a large part as to why you do, fashion, for instance, and that why one of the reasons as to why you want to push your boundaries. And so, in the year leading up to that, would you say that you were able to do that in your everyday life?
The year leading up to it, as in 2024 or 2023.
Yes.
2023.
Like freshman year.
Fresh. Oh, okay. Freshman year leading up to it. So I think in terms like freshman year, like everything was really routine. It was like a very new environment for me. College as a freshman, I didn't do like the normal like traditional like college things like going out every single weekend and partying. Like I really did take that time to like really dive into my classes. I think a little bit too much because I also worked during that time. It would be classes and then work. I think I worked like 18 hours a week while also balancing 18 credits. So it took up a lot of my time. And I was learning a new language as well. I was learning Japanese. That was one of my classes. So it's like I just didn't have any free time. So getting into college, one of the biggest things I worked on my own time really was my own confidence, the way I represented myself. I know I was back in grade school. I was very hesitant. I was very reserved, not so reserved to my close friends, but I think everyone knew me for just like not being firm enough to like stand up for myself, not being able to like say no to things. And I think that's one thing that I was able to improve on in college, like identify when I have to say no. Cuz like I love being kind and all, but it's like when it starts going to the point where you're getting exploited, like it's it's just not fun to be that person to be exploited. And I had to really stand my ground. And fashion came into play when it just built up my confidence even more to just do these things that I wasn't able to do. And fashion really all comes back down to confidence, because that's one thing I really did lack in grade school. And I think a lot of people still struggle with like how do you find confidence? And I think for me, it's having that social proof of like, oh, I did something really hard even when I doubted myself. And there's many instances that I could talk about where I was just so uncertain about it, but I still did it anyways. And now it just becomes natural. Like I get nervous, like, but I'm confident because there's just so much that has led up to this point that like why shouldn't I be confident?
I love that. And yeah, since you mentioned that there's so many examples of this, of course, I know we've been speaking about it from the content creator's perspective and your ambitions to become a collegiate boxer. But is there? But what would you say are one of the earliest, moments that you've been able to, I mean, to make that happen?
Building my confidence.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so it was a very crazy story. Probably one of my like biggest moments of like why I really did that. It was in my senior year of high school. We're we don't have valedictorian speakers. We actually have class speakers and uh yeah, yeah, a class speaker and a faculty speaker, which they get chosen, one of which being the class gets to choose. And I ran for this, and I was the last one to go to actually give my pitch as to why I should speak on behalf of my classmates for graduation. And I think there was 12 people before me. Everyone had their scripts, everyone read off the scripts, had the mic like behind the pole. And honestly, I give all my credit to my public speaking teacher back in high school. His name was Mr. Mozingo. I had him in my junior year of high school. And when I tell you like a lot of my public speaking comes from this class, it did, because like that's the moment I was able to like really express myself. And from that moment, I utilized it in that moment. When I went up to that stage, I had a script. I tossed the script. I made sure everyone knew I was not going to be speaking from that script. I crumpled up the piece of paper, put it in my pocket, grabbed the mic from the podium, and just went to the front of the stage and just started talking. And before I even started talking, everyone went crazy. Everyone started clapping. And I was so nervous. I was so nervous because it was so outside of my comfort zone. Like, no one would have ever expected me to do something like this. To have it come from me, like that was like monumental even for me. And looking back on it now, it's like I don't think a lot of the teachers even expect that from me. And it was just so out of the ordinary that I just had to give myself credit, because now that is an example of confidence that I want to like express, because it was so hard, but I still did it in front of like 400 of my classmates.
Okay, that is extraordinary. I mean, if anything, it could be a mic drop moment. I mean, that would be it.
Yeah, I remember when they gave their round of applause, I started speaking as to why I should become like the class speaker for my class. And then afterwards, when it was all over, like they clapped again, and I was like, I knew I was gonna get it, but then at the same time, I was just so astonished that I was able to do that. I think that speech alone was better than the speech that I gave for graduation, mainly because of the behavior and the mannerisms that were just so different from everyone else that no one expected. I honestly believe that was better than my graduation speech.
That is outstanding. And do you remember what you said like during that speech, both the one to become the speaker and then the actual graduation speech?
For the one that got me nominated, I know I spoke from just really representing my class for its diversity and speaking on the behalf of all of our achievements, and really honing in on like what to look forward after high school. And I know my graduation speech was centered around chasing dreams. Chasing dreams, and I think I still utilize that to this day. I'm obviously going to make references of it in the future when those times come, because the last words that I said for the graduation speech was like, so the class of 2023, let's show this world what it means to dream. And I really meant it. I really did mean it. Freshman year of college, it was routine. I worked really hard, but I didn't know myself to the fullest extent. And people started showing me that in the second half of my freshman year. And then I keep coming back to my graduation speech as a reference. It's like I'm still trying to show other people what it's like to dream big. Like such a huge like ambition. And it's not going to come easy. It's going to take a lot of effort, but that's something that I'm willing to take. And it's risky. And it's so risky, but like and it comes with believing in what you are capable of. The actions that you're taking to get to those things. And what makes me so confident even now at the end of 2024 is the fact that in 4 months I was able to not only meet people that I like, seen on my For You page, but actually also get brand deals off of UGC. So it's like a little trailer, like a little teaser of what's possible if I just take actions towards the goals that I've set for myself. So everything ties back to chasing a dream.
I absolutely love that, and I'm so glad that I asked about that. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I have been absolutely loving this conversation, and yeah, like I said, each and every part of it. And is there anything else that, like I said, that you had wanted to, yeah, to mention or ask, or even yeah, questions for me while we are still speaking here on the podcast?
Yeah, I think I'm I'm just ready to see what I could do for 2025, seeing what the year has to offer me. There is going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of things that I'm going to have to figure out to get to where I want to get, but I know that it's like not necessarily like a clear line, but like I know what I need to do to get where I need to be. And I just need to trust that if I just take action every single day and like not really look at the individual goal of itself, but see the progress that I'm making every single day, the steps that I'm taking to get to those goals, because I think those matter more than the goal itself.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, and even diving a little bit deeper, I did want to ask too. So, yeah, so in a few, weeks or months when this episode goes out, did you have a message for yourself rewatching this when you go back into it?
Okay, so this episode is going to like in a few weeks or months from now.
Yeah, for the sake of this, let's suppose the first week of March.
Okay, so first week of March, like a message that I would like to say to myself if I were to rewatch this in March. I think one of the things I didn't mention is the fact that I wanted to bulk up more too. Gain like more weight, like 20 pounds. So I think a message that I want to say to myself is that, Jayrold, I just want you to be consistent with the things that you say you're going to do. Really take action and believe the things that you are capable of, because at the end of the day, you're doing this for yourself. You're doing this to inspire other people, and you're doing this to just become a better person and to be a better person to be around, the company that you surround yourself with. And I hope that you start to grow more and more, not only from this year alone, but in the following months that you even start this. And I know it's going to happen because, like, why wouldn't it?
I love that. And of course, I wish you the absolute best. And yeah, achieving your goals, accomplishing them, and yeah, and of course, documenting the journey alongside with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so let's say this has just been such a let's say extraordinary let's say time to chat. I've really enjoyed all of it, and I will truly say that I have been looking forward to this yeah, ever since we had put it on the calendar.
Honestly, thank you so much for this experience. It means a lot to me for just getting to express the reasons as to why I started this journey in the first place, having a space to really talk about it more. Thank you for having me on this podcast in general, because it was such a very unique experience. I've never done something like this, so it is very enjoyable. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, and like I said, continue yeah, inspiring others and making a difference on like I said on your platforms. I am so like I said, excited to continue yeah following and supporting your journey. And speaking of which, where are the best places for those tuning in to follow you online?
I think the best place right now, the only place that I've been posting my content is on Instagram. So it's basically my name and then RV. So Jayrold RV on Instagram.
Well, that sounds perfect. And I did want to ask, so what does it mean for you to be able to be here and tell your story thus far? Yeah, here on the channel.
It means a lot because now I could also use this as a benchmark to see where I'm at right now. And then if I ever look back at it in the future, be like, there's more that I've done. There's more that, I've done since this point. Like even the reference points that I could make from now, from graduation of high school, there's a lot that I've done. And I can't wait to see what I do more of too in 2025, because 2024, it was great and all, so much like boldness, courage to do things, but that was just like, it was the teaser. It was the teaser of what's possible.
I love that. And I want to go ahead and allow for you to go ahead and close out this episode with whether it be a life lesson, inspirational thought, or whatever the case may be. The floor is all yours to end off of this episode to start off season 10 of the podcast.
For everyone tuning into this podcast, I just wanted to say that everything starts with taking action. Everything starts with yourself, what you do every single day, whether it be good things or bad things, and they all compound with each other. You have the capabilities of making anything happen, regardless of the circumstance. You have what it takes to become where you want to be. And it starts with small actions, not major ones, small actions. Whether you have like little time to make those things happen, if you just put small actions into place, whatever that goal may be, as long as you're inching towards it every single day and have proof for the difference from point B to point A that you've made progress, you will get to where you have to get. You don't have to conform to what other people say you should be, because you are more than what other people think of you. You are much more than that. You're beautiful. You have so much potential to be what you envision you want to be, and it's not out of reach. It's only out of reach if you make it.
I think that's the perfect way to end out this episode. Like I said before, thank you so much, and definitely please keep in touch. I'm so excited to see what you are going to do both now and in the future to come.
Of course, likewise to you, Brandon. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast.
Of course, I know that you are going to end out 2024 strong, but I challenge you, of course, to enter into 2025 confident. You got this.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yes, and for those tuning in, thank you so much as always for tuning into the Tansson Talk show. I always appreciate your support, and let's continue every week, every episode, to continue on our mission to bring people together. I'll see you then. Take care.